to set it up properly. What's going on here? Look, I gotta see. I got a piece of mind. Now, coming off, welcome y'all. What's up? What up? What up? I need to get my hair uh twisted. I need to shave. I need white Jesus. That's what I need. Look at this. Off of the film festival, Compton Film Festival. Shout out to Antonio and Mark, in the Compton Film Festival. Everybody that was there. What's up, Makia? Let me let y'all come in. Patricia Blair, appreciate you. Cat, what's good? Yeah, that's what's up. Appreciate you, Cat. Um, Compton Film Festival yesterday was cool. You can see on the picture. What's up, Margie? You see on the picture to the what was it? It was say to the right of me was my uh, cousin Keith. Shout out to Black in the Green Room, Keith Underwood. I didn't even know till the last minute that he was moderating my panel until the last minute. But we watched the film. Everyone enjoyed it, and then we just had like a Q&A. It was like a good 30 minutes. Lonzo was there on the panel with me, so shout out to Lonzo. Um, and then, oh yeah, Siddiqui was in the building as well. Shout out to Siddiqui. He's in the project as well. And I ain't really watched the film in like so long. It was like looking back and just saying like, oh yeah, how I'm gonna move forward. The true essence of Sankofa, like looking back at something and saying how I'm gonna move forward. That's pretty much how I was looking at it. And I said, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this because I'm planning to just expand on it. I got a possible situation. I'm not gonna say we're cool, but I have some things in the work. Might be one of the big majors that may take it because I'm gonna do this series and I'm gonna do it right. So I'm getting the budget up for it right now. What's up? Um, Young J, Carla Turner. Okay, Carla. Yeah, and Carla, I gotta get you the next shipment. I'm getting you a cruelty free sweater because real life didn't shoot you yours. So make sure I got your size and um, you can. I'll give you the options for the colors, but you can look on the site to see. Yeah, I'm gonna check the email. That's what's up. I got the new Set in the West uh, t-shirts as well. So those are in that, and those are ready. Those are ready. Small, medium, large, extra large, 2X, all that good, all that. Um, do they run big? If so, get an XL. Um, well, what you saw on me in that picture was a just a regular XL. So they're Bella Canvas. So if you know, but like to be honest, just email me if you want like one for women. I can just get the black, and it'll be because this is what it is. It's standard size or standard shirts. So that's why I have the standard ones. So if you want one specifically for women, they do have that option. I can go talk to them and just get you that one. Just I guess put it in your notes. But for the most part, I was rocking an XL, and that fits me like I guess I'm a pretty big person. But overall, yeah. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and check that out, Carla, for sure. But um, I'll put it on members here too, and I'm gonna put it on my Patreon. I have the panel that Lonzo and I were on, and it was just me and him with Keith Underwood. Shout out to Keith Underwood. Uh, Y'all go follow him, Black in the Green Room on IG. Look him up, Black in the Green Room on IG. A lot of great interviews. He interviewed like Christian Keys. He interviewed a bunch of people, man. Like he's with it. He's with it. He's been in the game for a minute, and that was funny that he ended up being like the person to moderate. I produced for him at the radio station. I was producing for him at the radio station as well. But yeah, yeah, it went off great. Um, and it just made me say, okay, I know where to take it from here. I gave a shout out or RIP to Dr. Funkenstein. So, moving forward though, yeah, like I know exactly where to go. Just kind of like it's about really keeping people's attention. Lonzo gave me a shout out because he was like, I'm a stand on the truth. He was like, that's why I allowed him to do what he did, and because he gave me footage, he just was like, here, I digitized it for him, and he's like, you can use whatever. So, and then that footage is like, yeah, like he said, it's like $1,000 a second. So shout out to him, and he, that's why I was like, yeah, I sat with him, and I appreciate him because not a lot of youngsters is interested in history. He made a comparison to an event that he just came from. And he said it was an old lady, 50s, 60s or whatever, and he was playing, he was mixing. That's why he's wearing all white, because he just came from an event, an all white event, and he was DJing, and they were saying, well, he was playing 80s music, because, he figured that's the crowd, so you gotta play for your crowd. Why somebody came up to him and was like, oh, yeah, I want to hear that old stuff. It's like, that's the best 80. On my Sirius XM, the 80s, 90s, that was the best era for music if you really want to break it down. 80s and 90s, that's all genres. I don't care, pop, hip hop, rock, country. 80s and 90s to me was like a good era for music. The music we got now and who we got doing the music now, it's trash. It's trash. But yeah, people don't appreciate history, I guess. That's kind of where I was going with the conversation. And Lonzo was telling the story of what happened at Compton College with him. Y'all got to check it out. I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm going to put it on the members. It's a good, like, 30-minute panel. And I'm going to put it on my Set in the West Patreon. So y'all tune in. Y'all tune in. Um, that's pretty much it. I was just saying, like, what's next and what's new. I'm going to start recording and building up with artists. They may not necessarily be artists that are cruelty free. I'll say that because I'm going to be just dealing with just artists touch and go in general. About to get back to my production, and Set in the West will have like a soundtrack. I'm doing all that soundtrack, micro docs, whole docs, all that. I'm doing all that. So be on the lookout. And yeah, we ain't gonna be doing no AI, nothing. I think the only AI I probably will use is maybe co-producer, but that's not even AI. So when it comes to production, yeah, that person didn't like music. I, and Lonzo's not like a whack DJ. Trust me, Lonzo still can DJ, just like Dre can probably still DJ. You know what I'm saying? Lonzo was radio trained, so he knows the game. It, you know, um, but yeah, any artist out there that's really interested in maybe putting out some good music, get with me because I'm gonna start the basis of this with West Coast music. I may even I might have to go holler at Arabian Prince and see if he would want to get down on some production. Go holler at a few of the OGs who used to rap because the song Hood Function that'll be on there too. That's shout out to the homie Special and my boy Menace, not Compton Menace, my boy Menace. I ain't check. Where's Menace? I got to follow up with him. And then we had Mello. Mello heard them two on that joint. My boy Mad G produced it. Shout out to Mad G. He produced it, and Mello was like, "Yo, I like this." He jumped on it, and that's where you got that verse at the end of the movie Set in the West. That's him. So I'm on a bridge of like a bunch of the older cats, older veteran MCs with the younger cats. Um, I'm thinking about going at go holler at MC8. I'm gonna holler at some people though. I really want to like I want to grab just a bunch of dope, kind of like what Kendrick did with what is it SOBRRBE. What's the name of that group? They were from the Bay Area, and he had them on Paramedic on the Black Sound Black the Black Panther soundtrack. Um, I'm going to do something like that. Start bridging the gap. It's really that's what it's about. Set in the West is really just about bridging the gap. And the whole reason why I even did that project, that documentary, was really for like people who are really for the culture, who are really trying to push the culture forward. Um, Look at what was done before. Even when I was younger, I didn't care too much for like, um, I think so. My affinity for hip hop came kind of like when Run DMC had their run. So that was the mid '80s. Then we had Kumo D. Then we had Rakim. We had then of course we got Cube. He was from L.A. Compton. So anybody that came before that, I was kind of like, oh, that's whack. Like Melly Mel. Even though Melly Mel he did a little shout out in Set in the West. He's in it. He's in Set in the West. But I didn't really care too much for Melly Mel until later. I was like, okay, yo, Melly Mel was nice. Melly Mel was nice. And I think a lot of youngsters now they look at stuff and they say, um, "Oh, that's old. That's from the '90s, the 2000s," and I don't listen to that. And I get it. I understand. But you got to study the ones that came before in order to be greater at what it is that you do. You know, I think if I would have really embraced Melly Mel and studied his style and then saw the progression because it was like I came in loving the hip hop game, the music, the MCs when it was like I said, Rakim, because Rakim is like the greatest to me. Karis one, the greatest to me, and then from Rakim you got Nas. So I had an appreciation of Nas, and it was like, oh, okay, just like now, these youngsters they could look at they would Lil Wayne is like their one, and then I hear Lil, well, I don't want to say his name. Y'all already know what I'm talking about. That um, body right rock, 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 body right rock. Uzi, right? Uzi. I hear him. I hear Wayne all in Uzi. No Diddy. And even Young Thug. I hear him. I hear Wayne in that. Like so, there's always that archetype rapper or that archetype person that they get their style from. So now everybody want to sound the same. That's the thing. So that's what I want to encourage. Like, don't be afraid to be different. Not to be don't be afraid to be different. And that's just MCing. We got 9 elements of hip hop. Let me see if I can remember them all. Of course, the ones is graffiti, and I got an interview with a dope graph artist. His name is Create. Yeah, dare to be different, but don't be whack. Dare to be different, but don't be whack. That's the thing. But I got an interview with Create that I didn't put in Set in the West. But I'm gonna start off like part one will be just a compilation really of what I already have. Then part two is just gonna just go into the that so-called gangster era, and I'm gonna just do L.A. Then I'm gonna do Bay Area. Then I'm gonna go like I'm gonna really kill it. But back to the elements: graffiti, MCing, DJing, b-boying. Said fifth element is knowledge. We could also talk about entrepreneurship because yeah, ask me a question. Go ahead. But we could talk about entrepreneurship because the way hip hop is and the way we do business is different. It's always different. So entrepreneurship, fashion, at seven. What are the other two? What are the other two? It'll come to me. But I'm gonna touch on all elements. Go ahead. What's your question, Dad? What you got? Why don't you come on and ask a question? I sent you the link. Okay, that's funny. My boy Special just texted me. What is Pooh at? What's your question? And again, all the drill drug messages. Time, the kids I interact with want the real now. Yeah. And the kids is ready for the real. The kids is ready for the real. We ain't gotta be I think see me coming up, it was Run DMC and then I would say that era between like Run DMC and Hammer. You know, people were dogging Hammer out for going so-called commercial, but Hammer did a great thing. He was a great representation for hip hop. And they tried to dog him out. Oh, you too commercial. No, Hammer was. Props to Hammer. Shout out to Hammer. And Hammer's a gangster. Don't get it twisted. Hammer is a straight gangster. And you know, yeah, that's how you want to move. Like that's honestly how you want to move. How Hammer did. Hammer came off dancing, turned this mother out, and he spun it on his head. He spun the game on his head, and he's invested in a lot. Yeah, LL Cool J too. Yeah, 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 yeah. Y'all, a lot of people don't know. Dre really loved LL like a mud. They would call him LL Cool Dre. Shout out to Dr. Dre, Miss Miss Jaguar. Right. What's your question?
Totally hit the wrong link. My bad. So I just wanted to know from you, growing up in Compton, I mean, you graduated from Compton High, correct?
Yeah.
So, like, those are your roots. And I just wanted to know, what was it like to have your documentary featured at Compton University?
Compton College.
Well, Compton College, yeah. It's not a
Compton
university.
University. Compton University is on Greenleaf and Santa Fe or something. Like
My
the
bad.
streets.
That part. Well, I
Compton,
mean, Compton College.
no, no, no. That was great. I would look. I didn't go to Compton College, and the funny thing is, Compton High, where I went, was the college at first, and then they converted it to the high school. But it was great to have a film and be recognized from the place where I came from. So yeah, like and it's dope because I remember being a kid. We did go to like Compton College for a few things. Um, I remember playing. I think when I was over there in Compton, when I was doing the Nipsey things, I was we would play on that the slides and the swing set and all that. And I was telling everybody, yeah, coming down them slides as a kid, it'd be hot. I mean, it's kind of like it reminds me of those days. Like a lot of things have changed in Compton, of course, but the memories are still there, and it's good that they premiered the film. Lonzo told a story about what happened in that same room, something that happened years ago. It's funny. I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna let the Patreons and the members see it because it's hilarious. Lonzo got stories. He got stories, but I was very appreciative of them screening the film, and yeah, it was great. It was
Were
dope.
there a lot of young people there?
No, it wasn't like a hell of a crowd. It was mainly like older folks. Um, and that's why when I remix it, because what I'm planning
Mm-hmm.
to do this series form, I'm gonna draw in. I want to draw in the young folks. Carla was just talking about how the young people now are just so sick of this drill stuff, and then I was talking about how sometimes these youngsters are jaded. They don't want to really hear the old stuff. They want to hear about the new stuff. So where I'm taking it is, of course, I'm going to talk about Uncle Jim's Army World Class Wrecking Crew, the fights, and then I'm gonna move it into the more the what people want to hear. They want to hear how LA became LA and how uh, gang culture got attached to hip hop with West Coast hip hop because there were gangs everywhere. Even Bambaataa, there were
Mm-hmm.
African Bambaataa, there were gangs. Don't get it twisted. But
Yeah.
how did it get attached to West Coast hip hop? How did the car culture get attached to West Coast hip hop? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna just go in, and I'm really trying to just get the youth to just pay attention and let them know um, like hip hop is theirs. Even though, like let's not abandon it. Because I'll say it like how so-called rock and roll or even jazz. They got abandoned. Black folks make or create. I'm sorry, create a genre, not make. They create a genre and they just
Mm-hmm.
abandon it. So I want these youth to know, like, no, don't, because a lot of years back, a lot of youth were not really rocking with hip hop. Shout out to my guy Scholar. He's a school teacher. The Asian
Mm-hmm.
guy. That's my boy.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, these kids, it's kind of like a bad. It's bad to be associated with hip hop now. And
Hmm.
I was like, I understand. So yeah, I want to. Next go around, I want to do something that's going to capture the youth. So they already, that their attention span is this. So it's like I got, I can't. I think I change the subject every 3 or 4 minutes and set in the West. I gotta be quick with it. So, but yeah,
What was your favorite question that you got asked on the panel? This is me
um,
interviewing you about the film
yeah.
fest.
Appreciate it. I appreciate it. Well, see, the thing is I'm gonna just say what the question is, but you'll go and get the answer, my answer, if you're a Patreon member, if you are a member of Set in the West as well. Then Keith asked me a question about, I guess, which interviewee was the most impactful. He also asked me questions about some of the interviews, like how was I able to get them?
Hmm.
Because you rarely, shout out to Don Campbell. Rest in peace to Don Campbell. He rarely did interviews, but I was able to get him to talk to me about what I needed. And I had him only for a few minutes, but um, that locking part, uh,
Hmm.
and some of the other people from Uncle Jam's Army, they 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 didn't really talk like that, but they talked to me because Funkenstein was a friend of mine, and you see me, I'm interviewing them in the middle of the street. It was like they was at a function. I'm sitting there interviewing them, and it was all
Sometimes
good.
those are some of the best interviews.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
impromptu and being able to get people to just open up and not really think about what their answer is, but speak instinctively from their spirit. You know,
Yeah.
uh, I wish I could have been there. But what I will say is the thing that I wanted to know is at the end of the screening, what was the overall feeling like? What were people feeling about it? What were they? What was the vibe in the room?
Um, I mean, I think they took a lot from it. Um, from an education standpoint, there were things in there that a lot of people didn't know about when it came to hip hop. And thanks to Lonzo, then Lonzo was there too, so he was able to edify what it is that he was saying. But it's like, and of course, it was funny. There were funny moments and stuff like that. So it was just like entertaining education. I think that's what people took away from it. Entertainment side of it and the education side. And in Compton fashion, them Negroes was late. We did my screening at 2. It didn't go off till 4, but it was still cool. The film that came before that, it was a feature film. I forgot the name of it. I came in late, but it was from one of the guys from The Wood. You ever saw that movie, The Wood?
Yeah.
He was there. He was in the film. Slink Johnson was in the film. It was another actor. But it was a pretty good film. It was a pretty good film, right? Like back in the day when people did feature films, you can kind of tell was like, okay, this is some feature film. Like these cats have recorded it on a goddamn on 240p VCR. But now people do independent films, and it look close to like I can see that. I won't say like I can see it in the film, but in the theaters, but I was like I can see that like on someone's channel, yada
Hmm.
yada yada. Filipinos are always late too. Okay, yeah, that's funny. What you doing in
It's
LA?
funny. I think every culture has their people that show up late, their people that show up on time, their people that do too much.
Yeah, I was late to this broadcast.
But you know what? It goes down on the set
Mhm.
sometime. But there's another question that I wanted to ask you.
Go ahead.
Have you gotten a chance to listen to the Will Smith alleged freestyle verse yet?
No, I didn't. You talking about the girls, Will Smith?
No, I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about the. I guess it would be called the bounce back.
Maybe let me just pull it up and see. Let me see.
Uh-oh.
Let me see. Yeah, bounce back. I see it. Okay. Oh, I heard. Okay, I heard some of it.
By the way, this is fair use.
Okay.
Fair use, fair use.
Okay. Okay. I'm not gonna dog him out. It's Will Smith. It's Will Smith. It's Will Smith. Like I'm not checking for Will Smith lyrical capabilities or nothing like that. I'm not gonna dog him out. It's cool. I'll run it back just to kind of hear what he was saying. But some of the stuff, like I said, it was cringy. Uh, some of the stuff he's saying. But I guess that's grandpa rap. But it's this is just as no offense, but anybody that's rapping about pimping, I'm it's the same way. I'm like, like it's like okay, uh,
I got three questions to
go
ask
ahead,
you.
go ahead.
As a hip hop connoisseur, number one, do you really think that that was a freestyle?
No, no, I wasn't freestyle. I mean, but you got to look at it like this. Paris once said the definition of a freestyle is if you haven't said it like out there. So here's what we used to do. We were so when I first started rapping about 16, 17, 18, really trying to rap. Um, we were like really trying to come off the brain, come off the dome. And, we were around like really dope MCs. Some of the cats from Dole Metamorphosis out were a lot of like crews in LA that was just, just sick, dope. And we thought they were coming off the dome. I used to rap with this one cat named Explicit. He was dope. He was coming off the dome. He's from New York. And that's what I thought I had to do. But the reality was, I think a lot of them were kind of writing beforehand, or they would. It was almost like bars, bars on the go, or what we call them, bars to, you know. So that wasn't freestyle for sure. That was already written.
Okay.
Sometimes you start out written, and then you venture off into a freestyle. But we got our freestyle better when we were on like live radio, and we were like, okay, the homie was like, okay, we got a hat. Just put out a subject, and we would have to spit it. And this was right after Pun came a couple of days before, and just spit
Hmm.
for a freestyle for an hour. And we were like, we got to be like Pun. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Well,
that was a freestyle though.
okay.
That wasn't a freestyle, obviously.
Got it. Number two question. Do you think if that's what he was going to present, he should have passed on it?
Nah, I don't think he should have passed on it. See, the thing is, and the funny thing is, he's rapping to that, yeah, 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 that Uzi, right? And see, my
Mm,
thing is about style. You can say something, you can say whatever you want to say. What's up, Francesca? Peace to you. What's up, Open Mind? Um, he said, "What's him? He to give it up. He fell off bad." Yeah. See, your style should elevate. You shouldn't have just that one style, that one cadence. Like, I mean, I ain't gonna tell an MC how to MC though. You know what I'm saying? Like him telling a story or him just saying, I'm coming back. I think it should have like if he wrote it or someone wrote it, like they could have pinned it better for him. Just as far as like the story, in my opinion. Because I'm like, yeah, bro, this is kind of ass a little bit. Just the way you spit into the beat, because the beat is like. Okay, let me give y'all um, a little bit of production history. So back day, my era. That's why I know, like, I try to have new ears, and that's why I'm glad, Jag, you like, we start listening to jazz and other stuff outside of this current hip hop because it is trash, even the old stuff. But I'm so used to the boom bap, bap, boom, bap. The new stuff is like up and down. That's the new. So like well, not trap, but just the newer style of hip hop too. It's like it's this. So you want to flip your style. You want to be on some like. That's why I said Mike and Nine is like the premier MC because dude, they was already on that. They was on that what do they call that beat? That type of production or type of I forget what it was, but they've been on it, and that's why Mike might be delusions granted, but delusions granted, like he be like just it
yeah,
sound like
that's one of your favorites by him. But the
yeah
thing
yeah yeah.
is the difference between that song and what's the name of that song again?
What Will Smith bounce back?
No, the Mike and I,
Delusions of grandeur.
Delusions of Grandeur. Like in that, he owned it. He literally became a part of the track.
Yeah, exactly.
His tone, like his
Hmm.
sophistication, the way he used the words.
Hmm.
In my opinion, I don't think he was really, really, really invested in whatever it was he was spitting, regardless whether or not it was a written or a true freestyle or whatever. I was done when he started using a hook.
Yeah. No, that wasn't
I was done. I was done when he
obviously.
started using a hook. But this is the thing. This is the last thing that I wanted to really get into with you because, see, I think a lot of people keep forgetting that you are an MC, that you are a hip hop artist. People come through the channel and some people think you're just a documentarian. Some people think that, you're just a producer or this, that, and the third or whatever, but you're actually an artist. As a elder, like him, because he's an elder now. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? He's pushing 60. He'll be 57 this year. And
Hmm.
he sat down with a bunch of kids. Like that whole podcast, it's a bunch of kids. These are people that are around his children's age, you know? So, in my opinion, I saw it as a wasted opportunity
Hmm.
because it seemed like he was spending his time trying to fit in with
Yeah.
them rather than bringing them into the culture that he's supposed to be a veteran of.
Hmm. Hmm.
And, for him to be getting as heavily critiqued as he's getting about whatever it was that he did, it's like, dude, you let the culture down for me. You know what I mean? And I know
Yeah.
people are like, oh well, no, it was him, and he was coming through, and he was showing love to the young homies, and whoop de whoop. But I'm like, that's not hip hop. Hip hop is learning. Hip hop is advancing. Hip hop is evolving, and that's one of the most awesome things about the documentary set in the West. It gives people the, I guess I would call it the tarmac that hip hop took off on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what you have represented all through the documentary set in the West. The tarmac of where hip hop took off from.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, the lyrics are the lyrics, kind of cringy, kind of this, kind of that. He's trying to fit in. It sounds like, he's doing all of these things. I don't think he wrote it, in my opinion.
No, no,
I don't think he
not,
wrote it. But
not at all.
if you were to take a guess, and this is the question, this is the question. Who do you think wrote it? Who do you think
Oh,
Ghost wrote that verse?
I don't know.
If you
I
had to
don't
take a
know.
guess.
I don't know. I really couldn't even call it. I couldn't call it for real. You know who wrote it?
I don't. But I wonder. I don't know. It's the way it was the way it came off, it kind of felt like Eminem.
Hmm.
Like certain parts of it felt like it was Eminem inspired. Certain parts felt like it could have been someone younger because the way they wrote it, it was kind of like they just kept going back to trying to get past the Oscar slap and going on the accolades. It really wasn't about hip hop. I mean, the truth is there really wasn't much storytelling. And what
No,
somebody said Jada wrote it. I don't think so. I don't think so. Somebody said AI wrote it.
that was one of August Alsina's
That was one of
throwaway.
August Alsina. No, but I'm curious. I would like to know who wrote that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You're like you don't want to touch it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, like straight up, what you were saying about him embracing the youth or whatever it is that he could have done. You're right as far as, or I don't know. He's just out of touch. I would just say it was, a little bit out of touch. Um, he's definitely out of touch, and that's what happens with a lot of these artists. They forget how to be, artists. They forget how to be dope. If you're not constantly, doing it. I'll just say
Well,
it
I
like that.
mean, in my opinion, I don't know why anyone would ever really look to Will Smith as a rapper anyway, or a hip hop artist anyway. I don't think he was ever a
Right.
representative of the culture, in my opinion. I mean, the truth is he was always commercial, and the truth
Yeah.
is his career functioned more like that of a hip hop plant rather than a hip hop artist. When you go back,
Mm.
and that's the thing that I think bothered me the most about listening to that freestyle. The kind of rap that he's known for is storytelling rap, talking about this, talking about that. If you go back to Parents Just Don't Understand, if you go back to
Nightmare on My Street.
Summertime, yeah,
Summer.
that too. Like if you go back to those songs that he was known before he started doing pop records, before Wild Wild West, before all of that, because those are
Well,
records that, I mean, he started using ghostwriters, and everyone knows that. But we'll say allegedly, just to protect the channel. But we'll say allegedly. The thing is there was no storytelling in that so-called freestyle. It was completely nowhere near it, and even in the Pretty Girl song, because you were talking about that as well, and like it I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just wanted to hear your opinion on it because you're usually um very learned when it comes to style and the word and the production of verses and presentation. So I was just curious.
yeah, it didn't raise the bar. Like every time you spit something, you definitely should want to raise the bar in that genre area. I'll say that. So if you're a graph writer, you want to draw something that's gonna inspire and be like, oh, then like you, ooh, like you didn't say, oh, like When I took you over there where Medusa got, where my boy created the thing from Medusa,
Mm-hmm.
and that was something kind of like, not, I ain't gonna say basic, but it was. I mean, that's him. That's what he do, and he came from graffiti, and that's what he do. It ain't. This is not no. He's just over here playing around, or like he it's an art. He's not playing, and that piece of work is up there, and it's dope, and it should be inspirational. It should make kids that see it like, oh damn, I want to be like that. I want to draw like that. You get what I'm saying? So that
Mm-hmm.
Will Smith verse wasn't like a oh damn, like not even go up against. It's just like it doesn't make you go like, oh damn, I gotta go hear what Will Smith got to say with his next project or whatever. So he's pretty much vanished out of Hollywood. So now it's like he wants to come back to music, and it's like, nah, that ain't it, Will. But I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna be disrespectful because he's an OG. Never let
Carla,
that album see the light of day. But he was all, man, this is cool. And I'm a youngster. I'm oh yeah, this book one book that's why I members like my song. Gotta be very sensitive, gotta be very not I ain't gonna say like you gotta have constructive you gotta be constructive with your criticism. And since he's the legend, I'm still gonna be respectable, but at the same time it's still constructive. It's like, yeah, he could have did better.
hmm.
Could have did
Well,
better.
I was just curious because I haven't heard your opinion on this subject as of yet. So,
Yeah, yeah. No, it's all gravitational. Like, just Will Smith is Will Smith. I'll say it like that. It's funny you mentioned Will Smith. So let's talk about the era of MCs, or just let's just say commercial acts, because hip hop really took off 84, 83, 84 commercially when it comes to hip
mm-hmm.
hop. Because you can talk
LL
about
Cool J,
uh,
Beastie
we can talk
Boys.
about notable MCs at the time. So let's just go with it. Look, there was a difference between those. Like, of course, you want to blow up, you want to sell, you want to, you know, uh, be as commercially successful as possible, but then you still want to stay true to your culture and true to your roots, or what they say, keep it real. Hammer came out with about 88, 89,
Mm,
and he got so much hell for going
yeah.
commercial and going all times platinum, right? And then it's kind of like that's what you wanted to do, but they called him a sellout. And like I said, I'm not disrespecting Hammer either, even though Hammer wasn't like the traditional. He was rapping, but he wasn't like traditional hip hop. It was like, okay, I can respect what the Hammers like. I respect all that. The Too Legit to Quit, Pumps and a Bump. Yeah, well, the Pumps and the Bump was crazy. I ain't gonna lie, that was crazy.
Pumps and a Bump was dope, and it kind of salvaged his image with the hip hop community to a certain extent.
Yeah,
Um,
he went straight gangster.
and yet it 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 kind of capped off for him after that.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Like the second that he
It
did
did.
that, it was, you had your young MCs out there, you know, Bust a Move. You had Kid
Yeah.
and Play. You had Kid and Play out there, and that's odd
Yeah, yeah.
because of that. Well, I mean, Kid and Play, they were, your standard for your family friendly rap artists. Like they
Yeah.
were the Will Smith, they were the Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince, but kind of, with a different spin, with a different feel to it. It was fun,
Yeah.
it was quirky, and then they started doing the movies. And then the next thing you know, that kind of passed over. And then we got more into the hardcore gangster rap. But if you look at that era, it was like the second that mass public saw the appeal that hip hop could bring, they instantly started looking for a way. to trivialize it and to make it commercial so that they could make money off of it and control the overall, flow of how the demographics ran.
Yeah.
Or am I tripping?
No, no, no. It's always about control. Like hip hop, number one, Jewish people, and that's why it's funny. We were looking at that Phyllis Yvonne Stickney interview and how she was
Mm,
saying how people, if you're in the entertainment industry, you really should be reading the book. How Jews run or control the entertainment industry because it's theirs, and you can't be mad at it. It is theirs. The culture is ours. The industry side of it is theirs. So therefore, they're always going to figure out. There's people that are just going to figure out how to commoditize anything, movies, films, and I shout out to her because she was talking about how black exploitation saved Hollywood, and that is true because before Jaws, because that was like that era, late '70s. The
hmm
the, 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 the '70s saved black exploitation. I mean, saved the '70s black exploitation era saved Hollywood because people will go to the theaters, and I used to work at a theater. The only you wasn't making money off of the dang on film. There was money to be made, but it wasn't like them numbers weren't like looking like nothing but the popcorn sales and the Pepsi sales and all that. That
Right.
was what made money, and that's that. Black people going to the movie theaters saved Hollywood. Fast forward to hip hop, 10 years after the black exploitation film era, you got you got this genre called hip hop that was barely a few years old, and it's like global now. So how are we gonna do a pop act? How are we gonna do a successful pop artist and make money off of it? So it went. I'd say the apex was like 89, 90. Was like you said, Kid and Play, um, Hammer. Who else on a rap side where you had just had a lot of pop stuff? They tried to do that. The Vanilla Ice didn't work. They tried Vanilla Ice. That didn't work at the time. You know what I'm saying? They had third base. And I remember that group, young black teenagers, and they weren't even ninjas. They were white boys, right?
I know,
Um,
which was really crazy that they were able to pull that off for as long as they
yeah,
did without anybody
yeah,
going nuts. But then
man.
again,
No,
it was just no. But I was telling remember I was telling you the story about we were jamming out and a neighbor had come over and
yeah.
he was sitting there singing his little song and whoopie whoopie whoop, and then out of nowhere he was like, "All right, now this is where the hip hop part comes in. Hey yo, bitch, I love you." And I was like, "That's it. That's the end of hip hop right there." But
Hey, yo,
you know, it just hearing you just remind me about the young black teenagers.
yeah,
They
yeah.
weren't black.
No, right, right. Everyone. Like Hip wasn't just like a black participant. Like shout out to David Faustino from Married with Children, a real hip hop head.
Yeah,
Can't take nothing away from him. That dude was. I like David Faustino. You know what I'm saying? And it was good to see like. And I grew up in an era where white boys ate eggs. We all love hip hop. It wasn't a race thing. That's basically what I'm trying to get at when it comes to the culture. But what I'm saying when it comes to the entertainment side, we know who run it and we came front. So therefore, '89, then we had '90 with Ice Cube. It kind of was like a response to the commercialization of hip hop. So you had Lynch Mob and uh, you just had basically like it just was like, now we ain't going this way. We ain't finna go there. So like that was a very interesting time, like between Run DMC 84, 85, up to about 90. A very interesting time when it came to hip hop and the acts that were presented in front of her.
well,
You know what
from
I'm
that
saying?
point forward, you started getting acts like PM Dawn,
Yeah,
where rap just
yeah,
started to become like a part of the landscape of pop
yeah,
culture. And then it was the black people were going, yeah, hardcore and all of this gangster rap and all of that. But meanwhile, the true essence of what hip hop and hip hop culture was, it was still there, but they were using it in a different way.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm,
yeah.
this is interesting. I wasn't expecting for the conversation to go this way, but I'm kind of glad it did.
Oh no, it's all good. Yeah, like I rather, we ain't got to be one sided with our convo. Why? Hold on one second. I'm sitting there. I think I'm lost in space. Hold on. I'm lost in space. Can anybody hear me? Hold on.
Well, that's all I wanted to.
Hold on. Give me one second.
Yeah.
Where we at? Where we at? Where we at? No, go ahead. Yeah. The conversation though. All right, I'm gonna go here. Um, the conversation pretty much needed to go, I guess, this route anyway, simply because of we're talking about the culture of hip hop. We're talking about setting lists. I was just basically giving everybody the rundown on how the film went, how the screening went, and like I said, I look back to say, um, this is the work that I did, and I did that shit. I finished that really, damn near like 7, 8 years ago. And now I'm looking back, and the tools that I have now, I know how I can enhance it and how it can be more effective and how I want to get it to the youth. How I want the youth to gravitate to it because that's really what it's for. The old folks appreciate it, and that's cool. But I'm really trying to get the youth to just like you know look at what these young kids did back day, and these are your grandfathers and stuff, and they 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 set you have cultural cachet when it comes to this hip hop. And in all honesty, why hip hop ain't just dying out? Like I think we were talking about. Remember we were talking about when we talk about go go, or we talk about Afro beats, or we talk about
Hmm. Well,
all these different music genres, and
house
hip hop is
music,
still here to a degree.
drum and bass, Afro beats,
Yeah,
and the evolution and change. Like, I mean, the truth is, do we really even listen to R&B records anymore? Are there any R&B records anymore? I
there's
really don't
not
hear
really.
R&B, and what they call R&B isn't like, for instance, you were talking about, your Sirius XM stations. You have stations that are listed as R&B and hip hop, and they're playing 70s
Yeah, it's playing all kinds of shit.
dance records. Like, so it's just like, is anything what they say it is anymore, or are the labels just the labels now, and they can just add it in and fill it in however they want?
Well, that's why I don't even like that term genre, and that's why I'm glad hip
Hmm.
hop is what it is because hip hop really isn't a genre; it's a culture, and it's more to it than just the music.
It is. So, in a year from now, where do you see Set and West, the brand?
I could have it. Here's what I want, but I definitely could have the series done, and many different like iterations of Set in the West as far as like where I want to take it because each city, each region has its own start.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go talk to a triple OG, Amd from the Watch Prophet,
Shout out to brother
and
Amd.
he don't want to hear nothing about no hip hop. He just want to hear about the arts, and I respect that. That's where we get where everything came from. But he has stories, and I would want to just sit down and talk to him about his stories. Not like how a Vlad TV interview would go. Like
Mm.
it would be about like you know art, and then I would venture off and talk to some other notable people that are instrumental in helping out how this culture came about and how we need to move forward. Because that's really what it is. It's like my question and a lot of them is like, what would they do if they were like in my position, or what would they do if they were kids now, if they were, these are true artists. So I'll be talking to a lot more of the OGs, and I'll be trying to plan a damn a festival of some sort,
Will
like
there be a
how
space? Will there be a space for the spoken word side? Because I think a lot of people tend to forget that the spoken word community is also a part of the hip hop community.
oh yeah, of course, no, of course. Like I want to do it all. I want it to be everybody. Spoken word, people who play instruments, everybody. There's room. I think there's room for everybody because you know it's pretty much like that. You don't. It's not like, oh, well, one type at a time, one genre at a time, one artist at a time. No, there's room for everybody.
Okay. Well
But I would
then,
love to do
mhm.
like what they did at Rhyme Fest, where even if it's just if I'm part of something like what Rhyme Fest is doing, where we can showcase true MC and true art, all that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this was me kind of interviewing you here on your channel since we didn't get a chance to be at, you know, the festival with you. We were all keeping it in positive thoughts and praying that everything turned out great. And I'm glad that, you were able to get that footage so people will be able to attend virtually, even though they weren't there physically.
Yeah. It was cool. It wasn't. Well, I ain't gonna say it wasn't what I expected as far as how everything played out, but it was good. The turnout was good, and yeah, like I said, I already saw like what I need to do, where I need to improve. That's pretty much why I said where I need to improve, where I need to take it, where we need to go with it, and how I need to get the youth involved and interested. So that's what it's gonna take. That's what it's gonna take.
Awesome.
Um, but yeah, but also when it comes to the industry side, I'm not mad at the industry side. I'm not super anti-industry. I just don't rock with it
You're
because
not?
so many. Well, yeah, on paper I'm not. There's so many people that are just so. I just can't stand the people. Like I did some work for someone, and I mentioned a person name that I went to school with actually, and this person is like up there in the entertainment industry, and I'm not hating on her, but I was just like, yeah, and this person had a different perspective of the individual, and I was just like, yeah, okay, but because what I realized is some of the shittiest people are the ones who sit at the top, the most cutthroat are the ones who sit at the top for the most part, man. When it comes to this industry, like that's the fucked up part. But when you want to talk about the art side, like the most humblest people be the dopest artists. Like you hear about Andre 3000, how humble he is in real life and stuff like that. And, shout out to Three Stacks and stuff like that. Um, and I rather get behind, the artist side and really show the artist how to really get it popping, not fake like a lot of these uh, conglomerates who say, "Oh yeah, we're really for the artists," but it's really about their bottom line, their dollar, and they're still being subservient to the industry. It's really time for like real artists to come together, form, and just keep pushing.
So then
Um,
is it that because you're saying that you're not really anti-industry? See, for me, for someone who was a part of the industry, for someone who, you know,
no,
I
listen to
went
what I
in.
said. I said on paper. Listen to what I said. I said on paper, I'm not. I don't want nobody to label me that. But if those who really know me. That's all I gotta say. But you go ahead.
Okay, so on paper, you're not anti-industry, but in
No,
in
I'm
your
saying I don't care.
private.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Like
so for
I'm doing
me,
everything that I can to really get them out the way and really get the artists onto what it is that they need to do. But go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, basically, what I was just trying to say is I think for someone who was a part of the industry and for someone who realized that you needed to get out and get away from it, um, I think everyone should be anti-industry
Yeah,
because industry is not it's not humanity. There's no humanity in the industry. There's just not any room there. You know, and you were just sitting there saying how, you know, some of the best people, you know, are the people that have the most, you know, cachet or the most clout or, you know, just the most movement and motion inside the industry are the ones who are the most inhumane, the ones who
yeah,
really don't have any you know, respect for the culture or for the people that drive the culture. So yeah,
yeah,
it's for me like I'm looking and it's just like the industry, the industry needs to end. Like that's how I've seen it, you know, and I've seen it like that for many years. It's as long as you have bottom lines dictating human emotion, there's always going to be some kind of descent into just dysfunction. You know, it's I think that's what the real issue is. It's when you start bringing that corporate element to it, the entire
mm-hmm,
construct becomes dysfunctional.
mm-hmm, exactly.
Because if it
No, no,
was
no.
functional, we wouldn't have as many artists that go into full on depression. We wouldn't have as many people unaliving themselves. We wouldn't have uh, people wouldn't see the need to fall into crime and you know what I mean, pushing anti-human. You know, because when you look at drill and when you look at this whole gangster culture, it really is opposite of what music is supposed to be about. Like you can talk about the streets, you can talk about the pain, you can talk about all of that. Period. You know what I mean? There are so many great poets and so many great, you know, writers throughout the years that have written about the struggle, that have written about all of these different things, and yet they were able to find something to drive humanity through all of that, something to learn from it, something to pass on, something to give. You know, it didn't end with, yeah, and everybody was gone and went to jail. The end. Like,
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
And that's pretty much what's happened, you know, within the industry. So my question is if you could reshape industry, what would it look like to you?
Um, no, in all honesty, there needs to be some type of structure, but it needs to be fair. So I'm not going to say that's why I said it on paper, because in all honesty, I can't stand them all, and you know what I'm talking about. But like I said, if it was up to me, I get a group of kids who are very creative, who are very dope, and I would teach them certain elements of the business side of it, but then I would encourage them to stay creative because, you know, I guess I'm kind of like I was technical and I was creative, so I was able to kind of balance it. But some people are just very creative, and some people are very technical. I would just tell them, pretty much for the most part, start their own nonprofit or for profits, and come together, organize in that fashion, and y'all rock out. Y'all, it could be one person's a singer, one person's a graph writer, one person's this one, and then y'all all put y'all forces together and work it out. Something y'all can have certain people do um, the business side, but it doesn't take away from the integrity of your artistry. And then you don't sell out. You don't have to sell out publisher. You don't have to sell out uh, points. And it'll work better for the artist because it's funny. Lonzo was talking about that yesterday in regards to how there's really no more money in like sync licensing and stuff like that. That's because they can AI shit right now. They can easily AI anything, and we ain't got to pay for this music. It's AI. You know what I'm saying? But if we got a bunch of creatives who almost do like a union, I would say. You know how like
Almost
You got the Teamsters. You got
like a cooperative.
yeah, yeah. It would be like that. It would, and everybody's looking out for each other. Ain't nobody trying to sell out because what they'll do is they'll get the one person and be like, yeah, we're gonna put you at the top. We're gonna start doing this. We're gonna start moving into this system, and we'll make sure you get a percentage. And then, but you got to screw over these people. And that's pretty much how the industry is. That's pretty much really what it is. Like when I was pushing set in the West, somebody approached me and was like, "Yeah, I want to buy the rights." And like the contract was janky as hell. I told them to kiss my black ass. It was janky as hell. And but they depend on you being ignorant because what they would have done, and this was before streaming really took off, they would have just acquired the rights and set it up for all these streaming sites, and it would have did what it did, and they would have pushed it and promoted whatever, and they would have gave me a percentage or whatever, because in the agreement it would have been like, yeah, you only get this amount, and I don't think that's fair. So if I had something, I would give an artist, just like what I got with my podcast. It would just be like, okay, we can do 70-30 split. That's just minimum. You produce this, I can help you produce, I can do this, but you're still going to get 70%. That's the workout. That's just what it is. I'm not trying to be on some 360. Well, yeah, I'm gonna do shirts too, and I'm gonna take percentage. Like, there's stuff to be worked out. I just think it could be almost done like the damn Teamsters and how the what do you call them damn people? The unions work. How the unions work is like the perfect. Um, to me, that's the perfect model. Kinda. I ain't gonna say perfect, like oh yeah, 100%. I'll just say kinda.
It's a more workable option than what's going on. It's funny because I was listening to just an interview of Keenan Ivory Wayans talking about, the rise and the end of Living Color
Yeah.
and how, you know, the network was pushing them to, you know, push Tommy Davidson over the edge, bringing in Jamie Foxx to gaslight Tommy Davidson, and that being the thing that was allowed. The reason why Kim Coles left so early and went right over to Living Single, which was on the same network, was because, you know, they were trying to slow her down and build up Keenan's sister. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just there was a lot of infighting. There was a lot of this. There was a lot of that. Um, and then
But
all of a sudden,
who comes not to cut you off, but who comes in and starts all this disharmony? It's because they don't want that type of energy. What I'm talking about when it comes to everybody, seeing the bigger picture and really working things out and like there wouldn't be no backbiting. There's certain people that come in and actually encourage that and line all that up. But go ahead, continue.
no, but he was talking about how, boom, out of nowhere, you know, they started running reruns of In Living Color while they were putting out new episodes. They were totally disrespecting the series. So basically, to kill the ratings on the new, they were playing the reruns simultaneously while the new episodes were coming out. And it's not like this is a TV show that had been on for 15 or 20 years because Living Color ended in its fifth season. So essentially, it was only
Hmm.
5 years. But see, he had
Hmm.
a deal with Fox that he was supposed to be being able to, sell his property after the series ended. He was supposed to be, having the rights to his catalog, his intellectual property for Fox, and he was going to be able to sell, like box sets, VHS, of which of course would turn into DVDs, whatever the case may be. But they were running the reruns while he was still in production for current seasons to devalue.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And not long after that, that's when he quit. And then boom, it was gone the next year.
Hmm.
So once again, I was just bringing that up as a point. And let's not forget, Living Color was a huge tie-in and piggyback off of hip hop culture. The
Oh yeah.
Fly Girls, all
He
of that
does, yeah.
stuff. His
Yeah.
brother being the S1, what was it, S1W or
SWU.
whatever,
No,
SW1.
SWU.
Yeah, SW1. Like they use hip hop culture to
Yeah.
really lock in, you know, that staple in on television. Like it was huge.
Hmm.
And then it
Yep.
was gone.
Yeah, they know how to undervalue, undercut stuff. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but that's just what they do. That's what I was saying. They see something good, and this is industry I'm talking about, and they know
Hmm.
how to derail it. Imagine if if they would have just kept that synergy going, and they would have gone for, I don't know, let's just say another couple of years, because after what, 5 years, there's something else with the syndication, right? Um, yeah, it could have been big. You know what I'm saying? It could have been real big.
And the
But
truth is, there was never anything really like it after that. They went right off into Mad TV
oh yeah, that corny ass shit with Aries here.
with
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. Mad TV had its moments. It was kind of funny, certain stuff, but it wasn't a living color. It basically was a
never.
rip off of it.
Yeah.
No.
Isn't that funny how that works?
Hmm. Yep.
So yeah, I was just
Mm.
bringing that up to piggyback off of that point, after seeing that interview with Keenan Ivy Wings, and then you were sitting there talking about Yvonne Yvonne Stickney. What's her last name? I don't know why it's
Last name
escaping.
Stickney.
Huh?
Yeah. Last name Yvonne Phyllis Yvonne Stickney.
Phyllis Yvonne Stickney. Um, and just the things that she was saying about how they got you. You if you're not a part of what they got going on, they got you.
Right.
If you're not
Yep.
rocking with what they want, they got you. Or they find ways to get you to make sure that when you're really trying to get it together, boom, they got you. So it just makes you wonder: is there really any possibility for industry to ever actually be viable to the people?
Nah, I think you got too many sellouts in the industry already, and what they want to do is just make sure that they continue to feed it. They got to feed the industry. There's too many sellouts, and it's almost like, see, I come to the conclusion that I'm not going to get a retirement to Social Security. It's going to be pretty much gone. I'm not tripping on that, even though
Oh,
I've been working since.
our no, our generation, the the simple fact that when they ran through the SNL scandal and they did everything that they did to the Fed back then, it was a pretty much known idea that Generation X was probably going to be the first generation to not be able to get Social Security. Like that's been a known fact for God knows how long.
So it's like you pay into a system that you're not going to benefit from. The industry is, like if you pay into it, or you pay your dues, or let's just say, like what she was talking about, she was basically saying how they were pretty much expecting her to just give up the booty, because that's just just a form of control, capitulation. They if they know they can get you to submit to them that way, then you'll pretty much do anything. So if and it's like, and I was kind of cringing when she was saying, she would, she can get you these girls if she wanted to, but that's what the industry do. It's like, well, if they can't get you, then it's like, well, do you got any other? I ain't gonna say, what I'm saying, though, like.
You want to know what's funny? Listening to that, because I was listening to her and I'm like, she sounds just like me.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
I've said the exact same things. How
Yeah.
many times have I said, you know what I mean? I didn't have to do certain things because I brought certain people with me. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like that's how they do. And when you're young and everyone's partying and You're not, she was older than me. She was a little older than me when she really started it. I was a kid in the game. So
And
as a kid in the
for those who
game,
don't
huh?
know, the lady who played on New Jack City, another hip hop like one of its first
Yeah, hip hop culture was heavily,
still
yeah,
really blew up.
it was heavily featured all the way through. I mean, hip hop was, oof, but listening to her say, I had my regrettable experiences, but I never had to do this to get on. And you know what I mean? But then again, she didn't do it and they marginalized her. It was the same thing with
Hmm.
me. The exact same thing with me. So once again, when I hear people say, "Oh, you're lying. You're not telling the truth. You're lying." Well, then how do me and this woman have similar experiences?
Right, right.
How does this woman have, she's in acting, you know what I mean? Did I act? Yes, I did, but I did music. You know, I was more on the entertainment side of it, which goes to show that there are people like me planted all the way throughout. And what they do is they corral you. But the second that you start speaking up, the system turns against you.
Yep, yep,
Listening to her talk about, um, how they put her in a role, and that role essentially just it. She was marginalized from that point forward, and that was just going to be it. She was never going to get a role as anything other than someone's mom. They were never going
yeah,
to give her this. They were never going to give her that. And I'm like, this is all. It's all too familiar. But I'm looking at it and I'm seeing like, man, there's no getting around it. This is what it is. Get down or
yeah,
lay down culture. This is what
yep,
it is, and it didn't matter for me. It didn't matter for me, even if I had of been quiet. That I think that was what I really took away from watching, her interviews, like looking at her and everything that she had to say. Even if I had decided to just, I've invested this much, so I might as well just be quiet and pray that I can get out whatever I need to get out. So, because I invested so much into this career, because I invested so much into this, because I did this, it would have never changed. It would have never
yep,
changed. There's no compromise. It's going to be what it's going to be, or
yep,
they're going to destroy you.
yep. Yeah, we'll get more into the other conversations because I was talking to the homie about, and maybe we'll do this on the Patreons on both of ours because we could share,
Hmm.
right? Like,
Yeah.
um, we were talking about people in the industry, like from LA. I'm from LA. He's from LA too.
Hmm.
We've seen people who started out like us. I started in my bedroom making beats and doing that and recording and all that, right? People
Hmm.
that have mixed, done all in the garage, just starting out from the bottom up, learning how to mix, learning how to engineer, learning how to write, learning how to be an artist, and then next thing you know, you look up and you're like, "Yo, oh man, you over here engineering for Jay Z, Beyonce." And these are people that we know, engineering for Jay
Hmm.
Z, Beyonce, and then they change. You see the change on it, like, oh man, it ain't like it's something different. It's like, oh, or certain talents and people who um they get in the industry and oh shit, hold on, you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, because my
I
battery
don't know if
died.
everybody. I don't know if everybody else is still there because the chat just kind of disappeared. Like it's almost as
Yeah,
if
I
the
know
chat
it's weird.
died.
I see. It's still people there. It says 40 something people. Okay,
Okay.
yeah, they said it.
All right, there we
People
go.
just not
You're
talking.
alive.
But look,
I guess they're listening.
we'll get on the members or we'll get on the Patreon and we'll talk about this. Because the way I'm looking at it is like this these conversations and these
not everybody's ready for. I don't think everybody was ready for you and how you came out, Jag. So it's kind of like, you know, you got to spoon feed them, and I think this will just be a spoon feeding session in regards to how the industry works, the insight and the inside. So like a lot of people don't understand how the industry picks and chooses who they want to be the winners and losers or whatever. So like you could be a YouTube star, you get
Hmm.
a fan base, you know you could do it organically. We talked about an artist who started doing stuff a year and a half ago on his own. And he ended up selling out like something like the YouTube theater or something, some not
Mm.
nothing major, but something that's pretty big if you started out a year ago. And and like I was saying, if you're an artist nowadays and you know how algorithms work and you can get a database, you would know how to corral your audience and say, oh, okay, I know I have an audience over here in Minnesota. I'm gonna go do this theater and I'm gonna promote here and I'm gonna do some geographically targeted promoting to let them know I got a show right here on this day, yada yada yada. And you can make a significant amount of money, but they will allow you to do it, and then that's why you got agents, and that's why you got um, certain people that will come to you and basically offer you the deal that you can't refuse, or you better not refuse, and then you just go away for a minute and then you come back and like it's, man, like that needs to be talked about. That really needs to be talked about. I
Mm.
don't think people really understand. And when I'm talking about moving forward with like getting a group of people, a group of kids, or creatives who are trying to do X, Y, and Z, and everybody's on the same page, that's kind of what I mean. Like y'all got to know what they're gonna throw at you, and to divide and conquer, and to impede on whatever your success or whatever. Because theoretically, if you want to be an artist in this day and age and you're pretty decent, you can go around the world and just make money everywhere you go every day for the rest of your life if you want. But that industry will come after you and try to swallow you up. What's up, Louisiana High Ride?
Well, see, that's the thing. Like you're sitting here and we're talking about all of these things, and you know what it would look like if people could come together in the community and synergize, what it would look like if we could take it and turn it into a real community, a worldwide community, a global community where everyone was sharing and working together. But then you have all of these powers that be that are shutting things down, and they come out of nowhere and they do this and they do that. Remember, I was just talking to you about that new book app that I saw advertising right on YouTube. And all you have to do is show the book to the app, and the app can tell you, either give you a full summary of exactly what the book is about so you don't have to read it, but you can know what the book is about, or the book will read, it can read the book for you, right?
Yeah,
And in the meantime, just for kicks, you can have anybody, that they have in their voice dialogue. Like they use Snoop as an example. They had Snoop reading some book about one thing or the other. And you're sitting there listening to AI Snoop reading this book. And it's just like, man, they got us all.
yeah,
They got us all. They don't even need us.
yeah, yeah. And you look at so many YouTube channels, I'm starting to realize, especially when you see these AI companies and how they can trick the audience. That's why YouTube changes policies, because they already see what's going to happen. They're going to have these AI influencers just running amok. Uh, People that that are really not them, and then they got an image and they can make the mouth move, and I know you've been talking about it for a minute. Oh, that's AI, and I'm like, yeah, no, real, for real. A lot of that stuff, the stuff you see on the news, a lot of stuff ain't real. It's AI. Like they it just basically, especially with the art side, there needs to be a discussion of how it could be taken back to the hands of the real artists
Can
and
it?
not the AI.
Can it? Like
So
that's the
yeah,
thing. Can it?
it can. There's ways.
Hmm.
That's why hip hop is still here until they, and even on the panel that the film that I had that came on before me, they were talking about AI and the industry, and
Hmm.
I was just, and they were, and it was just like I was just shaking my head like, nah, this ain't it. Like, use AI as a tool. Don't have AI write your script. That's whack. Like that's whack. And the reason why the AI is getting stronger is because we're constantly feeding
We're
it.
feeding it. Yeah. Like, and I think that's the
So
thing
that's
that people
why,
don't understand. When you're using AI, you're not, it's not helping you. You're training it. And because it's
yeah,
a machine and it can quantify the information on a quick space and then take it and just multiplicity, just multiplicity, just upon multiplicities with what a computer can do or what a machine can do. You're teaching it.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
teaching it how to think like you. You're teaching it how
yeah.
to speak like you. You're teaching it how to do all of this. So guess what? One day it'll be able to operate and it doesn't even need you.
It will replace you. That's why I say it's not too late. It's really about the awareness, letting everyone know, letting the art, especially the artists know. Like there's a certain way. Yeah, if I had it my way right now, all artists, I mean, Spotify could be used. All these streaming services could be used like the radio was once was. Let it push out your single, but you keep all of your real music, your real videos, and you just give it to your audience. And there's a way to disseminate it. You don't have to just do and give it up online. You don't have to just, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it'll. And then I would also say, don't put all your creativity in the hands of AI.
Hmm,
But anyway,
indeed. Yeah, sorry
anyway,
about that. That was really educational though.
no, don't be sorry. I'm lightheaded. I'm about to get. I need to get in the pool or something. That's what I'm doing. But
Oh.
I appreciate the people that have came on board, y'all, and I appreciate everybody here, all the likes, appreciate it. Got people ordering shirts, I appreciate that. We got a lot more that we're gonna push out. The Jaguar mixtape, you'll probably have to order the sweatpants and the shirts and the socks in order to listen to her music. But I think that's a really dope idea. Like just you got your art, your music embedded in certain stuff where like I was just say like this. Imagine having a jogging suit and the jogging suit you got embedded music within the one sleeve got one thing, the other sleeve got another. The you can do a lot like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you on a 20-minute jog. You got 5 6 songs that you can listen to.
Which is amazing, because we get to we get to cooperate, or should I say, not cooperate, but incorporate, lifestyle with the art.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, I'm
yeah.
just like, I'm super geeked and I'm super pumped at all the possibilities of what can be done, of what we can do. And I just want to keep people, just in the spirit of it's not too late. It's not too late. We still can create, the kind of community that we want to see for the future, regardless of what's going on right now. We can still have our own plan for the future.
I'm gonna end it on this note. The project that I'm gonna do set in the West. I honestly want to simultaneously. I ain't gonna say simultaneously. I'll say if I drop set in the West next spring, the series. Right after
Hmm.
that, I want to do something um the idea that I was talking about with you, about New York and Philly, New York versus Philly. I'm dead ass. Like I dead ass want to just sit with the people from your neck of the woods, your home state, and really get it in and talk about how Philly got jacked. Like I honestly think that would be, something that I would want to do. Like I'm going to get the budget for Set in the West and get it out there. It'll be what it is. And also, y'all, I'm finishing up the documentary series for New Orleans, the Hurricane Katrina documentary. That's being finished. Dr. Short is going to be in it. Um,
Fabulous.
yeah, and he got a lot to say. He's like, in fact, I got to get on the phone with him. But Dr. Short's going to be contributing to that. We're going to turn that into something, and we're going to do that. So that one may be a little sooner than later. Remember, I was telling you about the company that I was
Hmm.
saying. I might just end up presenting and packaging that and getting that to them. But I think setting the West, and then you and I will figure out how we could do, the Philly East Coast, Philly, New York, side of it. Just
And
it's like,
Jersey, because a lot of
yeah,
people keep
yeah,
forgetting that Jersey is the armpit right in there. And it's so funny because North Jersey ran to New York and South Jersey ran to Philadelphia. It was right down the middle.
yeah. Yeah, I think we should talk about that, man. Like just like that rivalry, but also, not make it divisive. Just make
Well,
it more
that's the
about,
thing. It really wasn't a rivalry. You really can't call it a rivalry because at the end of the day, the industry won. And the industry was in New York and everyone bowed down.
mm,
And that's the industry. That's the interesting part of it. It didn't matter how hard anybody was fighting to have their area known. Like the closest that we got to it was what we did when I was, a part of the Roots crew in Philadelphia with Black Lily and the jam sessions and all of that. And guess what?
yeah,
At the end of the day, look at where they are. They're sitting right
yeah,
there, NBC,
yep,
playing
yep,
behind Jimmy Fallon. The
yep.
industry won.
Industry.
And
Yep.
and that's just what it was. So I think that's part of the reason why New York has been able to pump fake so tough. Like, they really was controlling everything, or like it all came from them. It's not that it all came from them, it's that they had the industry there. See?
Let's seriously, let's seriously make this part of the our cruelty free documentary series, because I'll throw Set in the West in that, but then we could also talk about that, and let's seriously jot it down and make that a thing, because I guarantee you a lot of people don't even really recognize it like how you've been talking about it.
Hmm,
Just think about it.
I'm
Just
sure.
something to think about.
I'm sure. No, I'm sure. No, I think it's a conversation that needs to be had overall because I, there are so many voices that got stifled, and there's so many people that are even now still afraid to even talk about any of this out loud. And
Yeah,
it's just like, at the end of the day, didn't matter how great you were. If you wanted to get that contract, if you wanted to get that deal, if you wanted to get that thing, you had to go to New York. The only
yeah.
way you didn't go to New York is if you bypassed it and you went to LA.
LA. Yeah.
And guess what? That came with its own, you know what I mean? That came with its own like laundry list of yeah.
And
So,
I would love to, well, that's another thing too. Uh, the Sound of Philadelphia, the Gambles, all that. Like, not they don't have to be included in
mm,
this, but why you mentioned New York, you mentioned LA. Why not Philly? But that I think it has something to do with mafia ties. It's interesting. That's why I say we could
mm.
talk. We can talk because that's a whole lot that we can unpack. But I think that's what we're going to be doing. I honestly, as I'm moving with Set in the West and how I'm going to push that out and curate that, I want to already have that one pretty much in the can and ready to go.
Well, you already know. I'm here for the ride.
Yep. Nah, that's what we're going to do. All right, y'all. We're getting into the why. Yep, that's right, Cat. All right. That's it for us. And we'll be back. I appreciate y'all.
Peace.
Peace.